And when
And then you
people
turn
get
it
all
down.
pent up, or a partner says to the other partner,
Rachael Ray built one of the most recognizable careers in television history. For nearly 2 decades, she looked like she had it all: success, stability, and a husband who seemed firmly by her side. But behind that polished image, rumors began to surface. Whispers about infidelity, questions about her health, controversies that never fully went away. And now, with her long-running show officially over, her husband's emotional goodbye has everyone completely heartbroken. A partnership like no other. Rachael Ray is one of the most recognizable figures in American television. Her presence spans decades, multiple networks, best-selling cookbooks, syndicated talk shows, and a brand that reaches far beyond food programming. For years, she has been a constant presence in American homes, moving easily between cooking, interesting conversations, and everyday life. But while her public image grew rapidly, behind the scenes, her private life faced challenges of its own. And now, with her latest shocking decision, Rachael's husband, John Cusimano, has delivered an emotional goodbye message that has everyone devastated. Rachael Ray grew up in Lake George, New York, in a family shaped strongly by her mother's Italian heritage. Food was part of her daily life from an early age, tied to her daily routine. As a young adult, she worked a series of food-related jobs that placed her directly in consumer-related environments. She ran the candy counter at Macy's, managed restaurants, and worked in retail food spaces. These jobs exposed her to how people shopped, cooked, and made decisions under pressure. Rachael's career began to take shape the moment she landed a job at a gourmet market in Albany, New York. Customers frequently asked her for advice on preparing meals quickly. It was there that Rachael began demonstrating how to make complete meals in 30 minutes or less, using accessible ingredients and straightforward methods. Soon enough, these demonstrations led to local television segments where the concept gained traction. Soon afterward, Food Network offered her a national platform, and by the early 2000s, she went from regional television to national recognition, with new projects developing alongside her existing programming. Around that same period in 2001, Rachael Ray attended a mutual friend's party in New York City. At that gathering, she met John Cusimano, the man who would change her life. Cusimano was professionally trained as a lawyer and had graduated from Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law. Alongside his legal background, he was also a musician. He had founded the New York-based rock band, The Cringe, serving as its lead singer and guitarist. Before meeting Ray, John balanced law and music while maintaining a private lifestyle, completely far from the television and media spotlight. During their first meeting, Cusimano spoke about his love for opera and cooking, interests that caught Ray off guard. Based on her own assumptions, she initially thought he was gay, but Cusimano corrected her. The moment passed quickly, and the conversation kept going. They talked about food, music, and culture. The exchange felt natural and easy. Ray later described the meeting as instant chemistry, saying she knew right away that he was different from anyone she had met before. By the end of the night, they had connected in a way that didn't feel forced or planned. Soon after, they began seeing each other. As Ray's career continued to grow, their relationship became more serious. They dated steadily in the early 2000s. Cusimano supported her work by showing up, not by stepping in front of the spotlight. He attended premieres and events with her, but he didn't try to become part of her brand. He stayed focused on his own work while being present for hers. Despite her busy schedule, they made time for each other. They cooked together. They traveled whenever they had the time. Their relationship settled into a rhythm that worked around deadlines and production schedules. On September 24, 2005, Rachael Ray and John Cusimano officially tied the knot in Tuscany, Italy. The ceremony was small and attended by family members and close friends. The location was proof of their shared love and interest in Italian culture and food. Years later, in 2015, they returned once again to Tuscany to renew their vows, marking their 10th wedding anniversary in the same location. Over the years, their marriage was often described as steady and enduring. Tabloid rumors surfaced from time to time, but publicly, nothing changed. they remained together, continued working, and kept their private life largely out of interviews. The couple chose not to have children. Ray has spoken openly about the decision, explaining that their careers and lifestyle played a role. Instead, they focused on each other, their pets, and shared interests. Their time was split between New York and Italy. Eventually, they built a home in Tuscany, a place tied closely to their love of food and Italian culture. Cusimano appeared occasionally on Ray's shows, often in relaxed segments, where they cooked together or shared the screen briefly. During the lockdown, their partnership became more visible. Episodes of their show were filmed from their house, with Cusimano helping behind the scenes and appearing on camera when needed. The setup was simple and unpolished, showing how closely their lives and work were connected. Their partnership extended beyond television. Together, they supported charitable causes, including Ray's Yum-O organization, which focuses on healthy eating and nutrition for children. As with most of their lives, Cusimano was supportive. From the outside, their marriage looked perfect, but behind that calm surface were pressures, rumors, and personal trials that never fully disappeared. The shadows behind the fame. As Rachael Ray became more visible on television, people began paying more attention to parts of her life she had never put on display. One of the most shocking moments came in 2016 during the public fallout around infidelity rumors involving Jay-Z. Fans began breaking down song lyrics online and searching for clues about the people involved. In that process, Rachael Ray's name began circulating unexpectedly. The reason had nothing to do with her life or her marriage. However, people confused her with fashion designer Rachael Ray, and this similarity in names sparked rumors. Within hours, social media speculation spread, with some users incorrectly claiming that Rachael Ray had a role to play in the situation. As the confusion grew, her team stepped in to clarify the mistake. Ray also addressed it directly, dismissing the rumors and stating clearly that she had nothing to do with the situation. That moment was brief, but it was not the first time her personal life had been dragged into public discussion. Since the mid-2000s, tabloids had regularly published controversial rumors about her marriage to John Cusimano. These rumors accused Cusimano of extramarital behavior, with some stories including sensational accusations from unnamed individuals. As the years passed, Cusimano's name became a frequent target for online articles and tabloid columns. Multiple headlines questioned his behavior, with some pointing out supposed red flags in the marriage. Through it all, Cusimano continued to appear on her shows from time to time. They attended events side by side, showing no shift in how they presented themselves as a couple. Rachael did not offer public explanations for the rumors, but she did not ignore them either. When stories crossed into false reporting, she pushed back. On more than one occasion, she threatened legal action against tabloids publishing untrue claims about her marriage. Beyond these rumors, Rachael has experienced some unsettling experiences in her life that left a traumatic mark. In 1997, years before television recognition, Rachael Ray was living in Queens, New York. Unfortunately, one evening outside her apartment, she was mugged. The encounter happened quickly and without warning. A teenager demanded her bag and tried to intimidate her. Ray resisted and fought back using a mace her father had given her. The attacker fled, and she was not physically injured. Not long after that first incident, she was mugged again elsewhere in New York City. Details of the second encounter were never widely shared, but the impact was clear. 2 incidents in a short period left her more alert and cautious about her surroundings. Ray later spoke about how those experiences changed how she moved through the city and made her more aware of risk. Yet her hardest trials were still ahead. By 2020, Rachael Ray had spent decades building a life that moved between work, travel, and home. Her upstate New York house in Lake Luzerne was not just a vacation spot or a showpiece. It was where she slowed down, wrote, cooked, and lived away from television lights. That house held the physical record of her adult life. But unfortunately, on August 9, 2020, that home was destroyed by fire. The blaze began in the chimney and spread fast. Flames moved through the structure before firefighters could stop it, and the house was consumed. When the fire was finally out, there was nothing left to recover. The building was gone. Ray later spoke about what was lost inside. She said she lost a huge part of the physical evidence that they exist. The fire destroyed decades of personal belongings, including notebooks she had kept for nearly 40 years, handwritten notes, drawings, photographs, and items tied to specific moments in her life. These were not objects that could be replaced. They were records of time, work, and memory. She and John Cusimano were not injured. Both made it out safely, and Ray was clear about that point when she addressed the fire publicly. Safety came first. Still, the loss was devastating. Everything connected to that home was gone in a single night. In the days that followed, Ray spoke openly about the experience. She described learning the difference between a house and a home. The structure was gone, but the people were still there. She credited Cusimano for staying steady through the aftermath, handling logistics, and helping her move forward when there was nothing left to sort through. With the Lake Luzerne house destroyed, the couple relocated to their apartment in New York City. At the time, the move felt temporary. The plan was to rebuild the upstate home and return once construction was complete. Life shifted into waiting mode, filled with insurance claims, rebuilding plans, and the slow process of starting over. Sadly, less than a year later, disaster struck again. In September 2021, Hurricane Ida moved through the Northeast, bringing extreme rainfall to New York City. Streets flooded quickly, subways filled with water, apartment buildings were overwhelmed. Ray's Manhattan apartment was hit hard. Water poured into the space and spread rapidly. Floors, walls, and ceilings were damaged. Furniture and belongings were soaked beyond repair. Ray later described the apartment as having literally melted. The damage was severe enough that large sections of the interior had to be torn out. The timing made the situation worse. She had only recently settled into the apartment after losing her upstate home. The space that was meant to be a stopgap had now become another loss. Once again, Ray and Cusimano were safe. No one was hurt, but the damage was impossible to ignore. Two major disasters in 2 years had erased nearly everything physical she owned. Items that survived the fire were lost to floodwater. The rebuilding process started over, but this time in a different city. Ray spoke about the flooding without dramatizing it. She described the damage plainly and focused on the reality of starting again. Replacing walls and floors was one thing. Losing personal history twice was something else entirely. What remained after both disasters was reduced to what could be carried, saved digitally, or remembered. The couple adjusted once more. Repairs began. Temporary living arrangements were made. Daily routines shifted again. Work continued alongside construction schedules and insurance paperwork. Through it all, Ray remained grateful for safety and the people around her. She acknowledged the losses without dwelling on them. But Rachael Ray has had to deal with more than these losses. She's had to manage public attention that sometimes turned to rumors, controversies, and scrutiny. The scandals that almost ruined her. As Rachael Ray expanded beyond television, her name became attached to more than recipes and shows. Over time, her brand stretched into magazines, cookware, publishing, and pet food. But with that growth came attention that no longer focused on ratings, but on credibility. In 2008, Ray entered the pet food market with the launch of Nutrish. The line was created in partnership with Ainsworth Pet Nutrition and was marketed as a natural option, inspired by meals she cooked for her own dog, Isabu. Ray appeared in advertising for the brand, speaking directly to pet owners and positioning Nutrish as a food made with care, simplicity, and familiar ingredients. The brand grew quickly. Nutrish products appeared in major retailers across the country, and sales climbed into the millions. As demand increased, the line expanded. One of the additions was Dish, a higher-end dog food described as super premium, featuring ingredients such as slow-roasted chicken, farm-grown potatoes, and carrots. The food was presented as natural, wholesome, and made with the same mindset Ray brought to her own kitchen. For several years, Nutrish remained one of the top-selling pet food brands in the United States. However, in August 2018, that success was interrupted. A consumer named Markeith Parks filed a class action lawsuit seeking $5 million in damages. The lawsuit claimed that Nutrish products were falsely advertised as natural. According to the filing, tests allegedly found traces of glyphosate in the food. Glyphosate is a chemical herbicide commonly used to kill weeds. The lawsuit described it as a potent biocide and endocrine disruptor, and argued that its presence contradicted the brand's natural labeling. The lawsuit quickly drew public attention. Pet owners expressed concern online, questioning the brand's ingredient sourcing and labeling practices. Some veterinarians and consumer advocates used the moment to raise broader questions about transparency within the pet food industry. Soon enough, the discussions spread beyond Nutrish, touching on how pet food is regulated. Because Ray's public image was built on trust and approachability, the controversy hit her close to home. Her name was front and center in headlines, even though the brand was produced in partnership with another company. As the case moved forward, Nutrish remained on store shelves, and by October 2023, Rachael Ray was not listed as a primary party in any active lawsuits connected to the brand. The products continued to be sold, but the controversy left a mark. Questions lingered, and the lawsuit became one of the most serious challenges her brand had faced. The scrutiny did not stop there. As Ray's business empire grew, other ventures came under review. Her magazine, Every Day with Rachael Ray, launched with strong interest and reflected the same fast, accessible style as her television work. Over time, however, criticism grew around inconsistent content quality. Readers noted shifts in tone and focus. And in 2019, the magazine was discontinued, adding to the sense that not every expansion had landed as planned. Her cookware lines also drew negative attention. Some consumers complained about durability, particularly around the non-stick coatings of the cookware and how long they lasted. While many customers remained loyal, the complaints added to a growing narrative that her brand sometimes leaned too heavily on marketing. Alongside the product criticism, some of Ray's recipe adaptations sparked backlash, especially when she simplified dishes tied to specific cultures. Critics argued that these versions stripped away the tradition and authenticity of the dish. Public criticism also followed her persona. Ray's upbeat, casual style made her popular with viewers, but it also made her an easy target. Some professional chefs dismissed her as a television personality rather than a true chef. The criticism became more pointed when Anthony Bourdain openly stated that she was not a chef, describing her instead as a businesswoman. His remarks circulated widely and were repeated often, becoming a reference point in discussions about her legitimacy. The criticism came from many directions. Some questioned her lack of formal culinary training. Others argued that her recipes oversimplified cooking. The tone varied, but the message was consistent. Ray continued working, filming, publishing, and expanding her projects. In interviews, she acknowledged the weight of constant public judgment. She spoke about learning to focus on her work rather than her detractors, and staying grounded in routine rather than reputation. And while these public battles played out in headlines, another struggle was developing quietly, away from court filings and commentary. Rachael Ray's current health update. In 2024, the attention around Rachael Ray shifted away from her business and focused instead on her physical appearance. The moment that triggered it came in September 2024, when Ray shared footage from her series Rachael Ray in Tuscany. The clip was brief and normal, but viewers quickly noticed that she looked different. Online comments focused on visible changes in her face and body. Some mentioned weight changes, while others felt her facial features appeared altered compared to earlier years. As the clip spread, attention turned to her voice. Some fans pointed out that her speech sounded strained and, at times, unclear. For many fans who had not watched her regularly in recent years, the change was jarring. Concern grew quickly, especially among longtime viewers who associated her with energy, clarity, and constant motion. Within days, the discussion had escalated from observation to speculation. Social media platforms are filled with multiple theories. Some users suggested she may have suffered a stroke. Others speculated about neurological conditions or long-term health issues. A different group focused on cosmetic explanations, questioning whether medical procedures or lifestyle changes were responsible. The situation intensified, especially because Ray had recently reduced her public appearances. She was no longer on television daily, and her lower visibility gave rumors more room to grow. For months, the rumors continued without clarification. However, in October 2025, Ray made a rare public appearance on The Drew Barrymore Show. During the appearance, she explained that she had experienced several serious falls over a period of time. Those injuries, combined with recovery and stress, contributed to the physical changes people had noticed. She made it clear that she was not dealing with a major illness. Instead, she described a period of healing and adjustment, both physically and mentally. She also spoke about how she had been spending her time away from daily television. Rather than stepping away completely, Ray had shifted focus. She continued working through her production company and remained involved in developing new projects. Her time was split between New York and Italy, where she continued filming and planning future content. The appearance helped calm much of the speculation. While not everyone was satisfied with the explanation, it put an end to claims that she had disappeared or was hiding a serious health condition. While her explanation closed one chapter, it opened another question. If she was still working, still creating, and still involved behind the scenes, why had her long-running show come to an end? Why Rachael Ray quit her show? In March 2023, Rachael Ray announced that The Rachael Ray Show would be coming to an end. After 17 seasons on daytime television, the program finished its run, closing a chapter that began back in 2006. The news spread quickly and caught many people off guard. For years, the show had been a constant presence in daytime TV, airing weekday after weekday and becoming part of viewers' routines. The show's official Instagram account shared a message thanking the people who had shaped its long run. The post read, "Thank you to all of our guests, and to you, our dear viewers, who we love so very much, for helping us make so many amazing memories." Ray addressed the decision herself soon after. She thanked her audience and explained that the show was ending because she had chosen to move on. In her own words, "I've made the decision that it is time for me to move on to the next exciting chapter in my broadcast career." There was no mention of conflict, no reference to controversy, and no suggestion that the show had been canceled against her wishes. From the start, she made it clear that the decision was personal. After nearly 2 decades of hosting, Ray said she wanted to shift how she worked. Hosting a daily talk show required constant presence in front of the camera, long production schedules, and little room to step back. Over time, she began looking toward a different role that would give her more control over the kind of projects she wanted to make. That shift became clear with the launch of Free Food Studios. The production company marked a move away from daily hosting and toward creating content behind the scenes. Instead of being on set every day, Ray wanted to focus on developing shows, mentoring other creators, and shaping projects from the ground up. It was a strategic decision rather than a sudden change. She spoke openly about loving the talk show but feeling ready to evolve. After years of following the same format, she wanted flexibility. Free Food Studios allowed her to do that, giving her space to produce food and lifestyle content without being tied to one daily program. When the announcement went public, social media filled with messages thanking her for years of consistency, warmth, and approachability. People shared memories of watching episodes with family members, learning to cook, or tuning in during difficult times. Media outlets also responded by looking back at the show's impact. Over its run, the show won 3 Daytime Emmy Awards. Those wins helped cement Ray's place among the most successful daytime hosts of her generation. By the time the final episodes aired, the show had become one of the longest-running programs in its category. After the show ended, Rachael shifted her attention fully to Free Food Studios, where she continued working on new projects away from daily television. Alongside production work, she continued writing cookbooks and staying active in culinary spaces. She made appearances at food festivals and industry events, keeping a connection with audiences without the demands of a daily show. Her schedule became more flexible, allowing her to balance work with time spent abroad. Italy became a regular base for her. She and John Cusimano spent extended periods there, splitting their time between professional commitments and personal life. At the same time, she remained involved in philanthropy, particularly through her Yum-O organization, which continues to focus on improving access to healthy food for children. But as the show closed and Ray stepped into a quieter role, the man who had been beside her throughout nearly every chapter finally spoke up, and his words carried more weight than any farewell episode ever could. John Cusimano's heartbreaking goodbye. When Rachael Ray made her goodbye announcement in 2023, John Cusimano, the man who had lived through every season from the inside, had something deeply emotional to say. Cusimano spoke about how proud he was of Ray's career and how it began with a simple idea that grew into something lasting. 17 seasons did not happen by accident. They came from years of work, long schedules, and constant pressure to deliver day after day. He acknowledged the audience that stayed with the show for nearly 2 decades and treated it as part of their daily routine. He also recognized the team behind the scenes, the people who showed up early, stayed late, and helped turn ideas into finished episodes. For Cusimano, the show was never just a stage. It was a shared effort that filled their lives for years. Most of all, he opened up about how amazing it has been to experience Ray's growth firsthand. He had met her before the talk show existed, before the routines were set, and before the legacy was defined. He saw the shift from local food segments to national television, from early success to long-term achievement. Watching that evolution up close made him deeply emotional and proud. The end of the show carried mixed emotions. Cusimano described feeling proud of what Ray had accomplished, while also recognizing the significance of closing such a large chapter. For nearly 20 years, the show shaped their schedules, their public image, and the rhythm of their lives. Letting it go meant adjusting to a new normal. At the same time, he reassured fans that the work was not over. The show was ending, but Ray's creativity had not slowed. New projects were already taking shape, and her focus had simply shifted. As the husband of a public figure, he often found himself pulled into headlines he never sought. Tabloid stories and online speculation frequently painted him in unflattering ways, questioning his role in Ray's life, or framing him as a problem rather than a partner. These portrayals followed him despite a lack of evidence and despite his consistent presence beside her. Before their marriage, Cusimano lived a relatively private life, working as a lawyer and performing music on his own terms. Fame was not part of his plan. Being married to Rachael Ray changed that overnight. Balancing his own identity with the label of being Rachael Ray's husband was not simple. He continued his music and professional work, but the public lens never fully disappeared. When the show ended, his goodbye carried the weight of all that history. It was not a farewell to attention or to work. It was a recognition of time, effort, and shared life. What do you think about Rachael and John's marriage? Drop your answers in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the next video on your screen, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.